Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
It depends on we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.
It's a great morning, I no doubt about it. Thank you everyone for joining us here. Global morning. I'm Uyag Mofwebe, and this is how we start your Tuesday for you, especially for those of us who have joined the program already. What more can I say? Global morning just gives us the opportunity to articulate conversations around issues that affect you one way or another. We've already started that on Sunday, by the way, and for every other developing story, this is the first place where you get to hear it. All right, so today we're not doing anything different than to just start up conversations, all right, that will be of interest to you, and of course put the facts in front of you as well. That's what we do here. We look at the big stories that have made it to the news, and then we unbundle them for you right here on the program. My colleague, whose birthday started last week, and then you're wondering what exactly is the birthday. Well, it started last week. She's also on the show this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be on the show with you as usual. It's a long time now.
Happy birthday, even though it's belated.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Like you said, my birthday started last week.
Right.
And that's a woman's birthday for you. In fact, the whole of the month should be our birthday.
So if you don't have a birthday, let's say in the month of July, so you dedicate the whole of July to
whole
her.
of July, gifts still coming in.
Well, that's great to know. But it's happy to know that you added another year. It's something we should appreciate because life is first and everything else is secondary, especially when you don't only have life there, you're also in good health. All right, because I visited a friend in the hospital recently, and you just had that feeling of, I'm not really grateful enough, really. You find people coming to the hospital for a wide range of reasons. There are those who are saying that, well, I've been here this morning, nobody's attending to me. Everybody's shouting, trying to get the attention of nurses and doctors. And then there's pressure on the hospital staff to want to deliver, even though we know the reality shows otherwise and things like that. So I think these are things we need to reflect on every now and then, all right, and be grateful for.
Absolutely. Be grateful for life. Be grateful for the seemingly little things that you don't consider something enough, but are very vital for your living and your well-being.
Right.
Yeah, so we should be grateful. Look back. I think it's a time to reflect and be grateful to God for how far He has carried you through the year. No amputations, no major surgeries. You weren't kidnapped. You weren't, the fact that you are here, still able to count your years and celebrate another year.
Right.
It's a milestone, regardless of maybe material achievements and all of that. And even if you do, it's enough reason for you to be grateful, I think.
Speaking of which, you talk about celebrating another year. 1 year is ending, 2024. Another one is already on the horizon, 2025. Yes, a lot is happening, including the fact that we understand, for example, that the president will be making his budget presentation to a joint session of the National Assembly tomorrow. It was supposed to be today, but for some reasons it has been rescheduled for tomorrow. Meanwhile, however, the budget for 2025 as already proposed has been approved by the Federal Executive Council, which meeting was held yesterday, the last for the year 2024. So the next one will be sometime in January next year, everything else equal. But 1 year is ending, all right? What really has the year meant to us as a country and as a people, of course, as a government as well? Because at some point, 2024 was a big deal. Everybody was looking forward to getting into 2024, especially when you consider some of the big events from 2023, removal of fuel subsidy. You look at the coup in Niger Republic, for example. That's important too because it's our neighbor here, all right, of course, for a couple of reasons. And then you look at several other things that happened. Of course, it was in 2023 that President Tinubu also appointed ministers. That inauguration happened on the 21st of August last year. So 2023 was big, but going into 2024 was even bigger because Nigerians were looking forward to seeing how those events will shape 2024. This is the 17th day in the December, so we're just exactly 2 weeks away to wind down on this year. So when you look over your shoulder today, as an individual, as a family, as a community, as a nation, for example, as a government, what exactly have we achieved? How far have we come? Especially when you look at it against the backdrop of the expectations that we've had, the plans we've put in place, the budget proposal or the budget for 2025, the goals that you also set for yourself as an individual. I mean, what you told yourself you would like to achieve in 2024. Did you achieve that? I mean, no pressure. But we need to take our time to always reflect on these things, because someone once said, an unexamined life is not worth living.
Absolutely. We need to, as a nation particularly. So while we are drawing down our goals for 2025, people, I understand that people have already started doing that. We've already started planning ahead, which is very important. As a nation too, we started already. Budgets here and there. We're also reflecting, because individuals likewise are reflecting. How has this year been so far? What did I do that I need to do differently now? What do I need to put in place? How has the trajectory been? You know, it's only right and that every right-thinking person would reflect, just so that you can adjust and make improvements and ensure that the next year is better than this one. And so, as a nation, we want to ask ourselves, what have we achieved? It's 2 weeks. Some offices are rounding up already, are closing for the year. Businesses as well are closing for the year, taking that break to look into 2025. As a nation as well, we don't want to have a case that is termed foolish, a foolish, scenario, a case where what is even done the previous year is better than what is done in 2024. Let's look back. How has 2023 been and how has 2024 been so far? And moving forward, do we want to have that same pattern where there's little or no improvement, or we say that the previous year was better? What are the measures we're taking to ensure that the dollar rate doesn't go up again? How are we going to combat insecurity? What measures are in place so that in 2025 we're not talking about herders and farmers clashes here and there, where farmers cannot yield greater outputs because of insecurity? We're not talking about people traveling and are unable to travel because of unknown gunmen and kidnappers on the highway. How are we cutting down the cost of transportation? Is fuel price going to be on the high? These are the things we're supposed to be looking at, and also looking at ways to improve systems, educational system. How did it fare this year? How did our healthcare system fare this year? How did the transport system fare this year? Which minister and which ministers begin to look at scorecards? Have done great, have done better, are making innovations, are thinking, are creative, are looking for ways to let us examine our performances and take a critical look at this year so far and project 2025. I think it's only right that we begin to do that, so that we don't repeat the same things, the same circumstances, the same occurrence. It just shows that people are not thinking. Right.
You see, this is a bit deep now, because again, we can't. Somebody once said that it is insanity to do the same thing time and again and expect a different outcome. All right. So we must find the humility, we must take the initiative to, again, reflect on where we are as a country today. President Tinubu, for example, a few days ago told leaders from across ECOWAS region to say, look, we have a lot to learn from Ghana. Look at the way they conducted themselves during this election. There's a lesson for us, not just Africa as a whole, but in particular West Africa, to learn from all of this. But the question is, did that message get home, or did it fly past the heads of those who are supposed to receive the message and run with it? All right. So if you narrow that down to Nigeria, for example, in which areas, like Quay was just saying a while ago, do we need to improve? Are we sincere enough to tell ourselves the truth about that? The budget is in front of us right now for 2025. What difference is it going to make when compared with the previous ones from the other years past? All right. So we must continue to ask ourselves, are we just going to have the same year with different numbers? For example, the difference between 2024 is just going to be that one has 5 in front of it, the other one has 4 in front of it. Or are we going to say, look, hold on a second, guys. We've missed it with infrastructure. We've missed it with the way we fund healthcare in this country. We've not done right by young people. We've not given enough access to opportunities to vital resources. The young people, especially those graduates, we're churning out in their hundreds of thousands every other year. And this is what we want to do radically different going forward. We need to have that conversation, because until we do that, we cannot compete on a global scale, whether it's going to be within the continent of Africa or across the world. We're going to take a quick break, everyone. When we return, there's so much to talk about, not just Nigeria, but about ourselves as a people. Do stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Well, many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, it's Global Morning here, where we keep you abreast with all that is happening to help you kickstart your morning. And now we will be looking at the papers for you, the front pages of the papers this morning. This morning we'll begin with, we have quite a number of stories right here, but we'll be looking at the Guardian newspaper for you. Big story we have here says, inflation bites harder as Nigerians await federal government food import duty waiver. And we have food inflation. We have a chart here, 10 months food inflation trend, and then the agricultural budget ratio since 2017, right there. And then Supreme Court finds Owu 5 million naira for frivolous suit against Tinubu. You find that story on page 3 of The Guardian. And then we have 792 arrested as EFCC gets tough with cryptocurrency fraud syndicate. Nigeria, others explore measures to reduce $74 billion debt servicing burden. And right here we have Lukman Nadozie Falcons emerge Africa's best at CAF Awards. I don't do football, but you know, Ademola Lookman has been in the news for quite some time now, and then I saw someone say that the best decision that Ademola Lookman has ever made, or the best decision he made, was agreeing to play for Nigeria. And I saw the applause, I saw the cheers, and I saw, you know, all of that. And it's good to know that he emerged alongside Nadozie as Africa's best player. CAF best player, I beg your pardon. So let's look at other stories we have right here. Says, I beg your pardon, says defense chief orders probe of Okwama leaders' debt. And then we have Tinubu approves new service terms for military personnel. That's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Lookman, Obasanjo ex-leaders must unite opposition to defeat Tinubu in 2027. And lastly, we have Shell's Bonga investment to boost Nigeria's oil output by 110,000 barrels per day. That story is on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. That's all we have on the front page of the Guardian newspaper.
All right, let's move things up a little quickly from the Guardian newspaper this morning, and then move it to the Nigerian Tribune, which of course has quite a handful of stories, headlines here. We'll begin with the ones above the name plate, top left corner first. FAC shared 12.918 trillion naira to LG states LGs in 11 months. What else we have? Says recorded unprecedented gross revenue of 3.143 trillion naira in November 2024. EFCC arrests 193 foreigners, 599 other crypto fraud suspects in Lagos. I mean, you need to see the sophistication of these operations, but that's a story for another day. Ademola Lookman is Africa's best player of the year with a rider here, 2 riders. Nadozie retains best goalkeeper, Super Falcons women's team of the year. So it's a big day for Nigeria, the giant of Africa. The Star story reads, with a kicker, 2025 budget, 13 trillion naira deficits to be financed through borrowing. That's credited to Minister of Finance, Wale Edun. 2 riders also accompanying that headline. FEC approves 2025 budget proposal. A budget presentation to NAS to hold tomorrow. We told you about that earlier on. Olagunju wins Best Columnist Award at NMMA, that's Nigerian Media Merit Award, the top flight award for the media industry in Nigeria. Tinubu names Yuri Abuja after Yakubu Gowon declares free trade nationwide for Utide. We understand that will start in the next few days. We run all the way till 5th of January for 2 straight weeks. Now that's commendable, right? Especially given the hardship that we're now dealing with. For those who say, well, the government is not doing anything about this situation. This looks like a good start.
It's a good start. It's a really good start. And I hope that when free rides are given like this, you begin to find that train stations are overflooded, because of the free services.
Everybody wants to take advantage.
Take advantage of it. But I hope that things are done cordially. Right. So while we are looking to help people alleviate, the sufferings or even cushion the effect of transport rates, let us also put measures in place to ensure that the aim is not forfeited. The case is not about and people cannot. People should be on standby. It should be well coordinated so that people can enjoy the services. It's a welcome development.
Okay, great. Let's see more headlines for you this morning. 2 more before we're done with the Nigerian Tribune. Here it says, let's just do one quickly. Food prices rise as Nigeria's inflation hits 34.6% in November 2024. That looks like an all-time high. This entire season is probably not helping matters either in that regard. But hopefully, as we start the new year, we should be able to pound down the inflation numbers quite significantly. But that's all we have for you from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. We flip over now to the Daily Trust newspaper.
Right here on the Daily Trust newspaper, big story we have here says EFCC's largest single bust. 193 foreigners, 599 suspected Nigerian crypto fraudsters arrested. And then weak systems responsible for fraudulent activities, says experts. And then we have a pictorial representation of these criminals that have been apprehended. 193 of them happen to be foreigners, and then 599 are Nigerian crypto fraudsters, and then they're arrested. I'm wondering, this is quite a number of them, running into their thousands, 8,000 if I'm not mistaken, almost 1,000, and I'm looking at our prison facilities or our cells. If they're apprehended, well, what's going to happen to them after now? Are they going to be locked up behind bars? Is it not the same cells and prisons and correctional service centers that we're talking about, that is, we hear in the news, is overcrowded and then, dilapidated and all of that? So where are these people going to be kept? I'm looking at that, and then I want to believe investigations are still on to ascertain whether, because they say they are suspected fraudsters right here in the news. So we also have, and then I'm seeing foreigners, white people who happen to be from,
quite a number of countries.
Yeah, quite a number of countries, different countries right here, who are also into this. So while we're looking at Nigerians, quite frankly, looking at Nigerians who are doing, who are into fraudulent activities, let's not take our eyes off the fact that we have foreigners who are here to take advantage of the weak systems as well, and put more, throw more light and investigations into those people, particularly those people in areas, and you know for a fact that they're not in the corporate world, they're not doing, and we need to do more investigations so that we don't take our eyes off foreigners who are into these crimes. And above the big story, underneath the main plate here, we have high food prices push inflation to 34.6%. It was at around 29% thereabout, and then we see that inflation has risen over the top, and now we have inflation rate at 34.6%. That's quite alarming. Then we also have Lukman emerges Africa's best player. Nadozie remains best goalkeeper. And that's great to know that these two people are Nigerians, making us proud, putting us on the map, and making us proud. Confusion at CCT as Umar Kogo Parade sells as chairman. And federal government approves 2025 budget, shifts presentation to Wednesday. EFC, I beg your pardon, FEC, that's the Federal Executive Council, renames Uni Abuja Yakubu Gowon University. And then we have security forces kill 8,034 terrorists in 2024. These are the stories we have on the front page of the Daily Trust right here.
All right, so we take things further down to the Daily Independent for you now. We begin with the Star story. Says FG petitions Iran over smuggling of two ASMA's aircraft. This story broke yesterday. The headline here has a writer, though. Nigeria may incur wrath of West over deal with Iran. So it means the country needs to tread carefully. All right. What's more, let's go to the headlines above the nameplates. Top right, top left corner. It says high food prices push Nigeria's inflation up 34.6% in November. Bringing things further down now, let's see what we have by the right side of the front page. FG renames Uni Abuja as the Yakubu Gowon University. The writer tells us orders free train ride for Nigerians from December 20 to January 5. So your free train rides begin this Friday.
I want to know the routes of this train. Maybe when we look at the stories, we'll find out, so that I know where I'm traveling, how I'm traveling.
Plan all of that.
Plan all of that. I hope that they're included. But again, Nigerians can be, not to take away the fact or point Nigerians as being bad people, but some people can also be saboteurs of this,
Laudable
initiatives.
efforts.
Yes, you find out that in the train stations, while it's rowdy, people are, collecting money on the side to ensure that they're giving preferences. Put fares.
So even if they miss a quarter of the standard fare.
So you would amaze you to find out that you go to those train stations, trying to board a train, I beg your pardon, and find out that it's actually paid for. You have to pay for it. So while we are doing this, I want people to be on ground, looking at,
just ensuring that things are smooth and there's compliance.
It's as free as it's said to be, and there's compliance.
Just the same way you have books that have an inscription not to be sold. Yet you find people selling them in bookshops. You find bags of rice not to be sold, free, whatever it is, and then people are still buying it. And it's the element of life, I guess, but it's quite a sad one. All right, but let's see more headlines from today's issue of the Daily Independent newspaper. Supreme Court finds ex-presidential candidate 5 million naira for seeking removal of Tinubu. Now, the court says that litigation was actually frivolous. And courts don't joke with frivolous matters like this. And the court has also said that going forward, the Supreme Court should not accept any frivolous matter from these particular litigants. Well, the rest is history now. Okay, Tinubu excited over Shell partners $5 billion investment in oil sector. Presents 47.96 trillion naira 2025 budget to last tomorrow. Appoints 8 new permanent secretaries. All right, what's more? Frank Oke's 161.3 million euros for Phase 1 CMS power project. It's been a while coming. This actually started when we had Angela Merkel as the Chancellor of Germany, but it appears that gradually this project is coming to fruition. And then the writer says, approves 17, let's see what that says exactly, approves 1.7 billion for acquisition of office for Nyamco. CBS orders probe over death of Okwama leaders in army custody. And then lastly, at the feet of the paper, EFCC arrests 792 suspects, largest cybercrime syndicates in Lagos. Find all of those details on page 6 of the Daily Independent today, where you do pick up a copy for yourself. Okay, that's what we have from that paper. Business Day is our next port of call, and Queen has those details for us.
All right, on the front page of Business Day, we have big story: Shell's Bonga $5 billion FID sparks hope for asset sale. The writer there says emerges Nigeria's first deep wave project since 2013. More feeds expected in 2025, according to Virgin. These are the story. That's the only story we have on Business Day. The big story. Okay, quite a couple of them here. Cash strapped. Nigerians battle pricey rise as Christmas nears. Cash-strapped Nigerians battle pricey rise as Christmas nears. And also as Christmas approaches, we've had cases where people are saying there's no cash, and then when you go to POS, people are asking themselves, what's the needs of depositing their money or monies in the bank when they cannot access it when it's festive period like this? The charges for having to withdraw a particular sum of money has gone up. So if you want to withdraw, say the charges for 5,000 naira was 100 naira, you're paying 200 naira or even more. And if you're paying 10,000, you're paying as high as 600 naira to withdraw 10,000 naira from your account. And then people are complaining that the charges are high and there's no cash in circulation as Christmas and the festive season approaches. Brewer gets gender, and I just commented that I heard that the federal government has also ordered deposit money banks to ensure that there's cash availability of cash for the public, so to be able to do their various transactions. Moving on, Brewer gets gender mad as Anama emerges MB chairman. And then UBA donates 500 million naira to Lagos State Security Trust Fund. Report finds modern health facilities clustered in cities. These are the stories we have, but just to comment on the reports finding that modern health facilities clustered in cities, and then these health facilities not being available in rural areas is alarming. Also, people have to travel miles just to get health care services, and get these facilities, or to get diagnosed or treated of various illnesses. And even people who are in the city are also complaining. We've had cases where people come and say that the worst place to get treatment is from federal hospitals, government hospitals, and all of that, because of the nonchalance in such systems, the attitude of the workers, even the health, the environment itself is not, conducive for someone who has, terminal disease, or who is sick, who is ill. And the time and time again we've heard cases, they've mentioned places, they've mentioned hospitals that are supposed to be
most times from people's first-hand experiences. People have lost loved ones because of negligence of the healthcare providers in those services. And we have a lot of these services here and if we're talking private, we know how expensive it is, and people have had to cry out saying that if you want, and even the private hospitals as well, people have been calling out doctors, calling out, just basically calling out the healthcare system in Nigeria. I just think that it's one thing we need to even pay more attention to in 2025 moving forward, because the number of cases we've had of people complaining about our healthcare system is enough reason for us to pay critical attention to that sector, particularly government hospitals, knowing that people, their fate is literally in the hands of these people who may not do right. Well, these are the stories we have on the front page of Business Day. Okay, let's go to our very last paper now, everyone, and that's the Punch newspaper. Above the main mast, it says Punch shines at MMMA sweeps 11 awards. Quite remarkable. Again, one headline adjacent the main plate says, Lookman crowned CAF Africa best footballer. And then the big story reads, 2025 budget, that's your kicker. Fake orders, final adjustments as Tinubu presents Wednesday. Two riders with that headline. Late signing won't disrupt January-December cycle. That's the federal government talking. Fake OK's budget after amendments. Tax reforms will promote equity. That's President Tinubu. PSC promotes 11 police commissioners to EIG. Let's come down to the headlines on the foot of the page here. Says Lakurawa, DHQ steps up intelligence gathering, plans special operation. 148 Chinese, 645 others arrested for cyber fraud, romance scams in Lagos. 148 Chinese, 645 others arrested for cyber fraud, romance scams in Lagos. Rising feed prices drive inflation to 34.6% high. These are the headlines from today's papers. So far, don't remember that Global Television has no opinion or contribution in these papers. All we do is bring you the headlines and then give you a reason to pick up these papers and read up details for yourselves. We're taking a quick break now, everyone. When we return, more to come. At the top of the hour, we have the Global AM News for you as well to stay with us.
top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
while ago we thought the so-called one chance phenomenon had either been defeated altogether, or we had minimized it to a point where it had no teeth, so to speak, to bite. But from what we're seeing or hearing recently, that hasn't been the case, just quite all right, because we're still noticing that there are instances of people who are falling prey, some of them who escaped by the whiskers from the hands of these criminal elements. Now, for starters, the one chance thing is such that you join a commercial vehicle, of course a cab or taxi, right? And then one trick or another just follows several other gimmicks, and the next thing you know is you're trapped in between two persons. Sometimes the door is jammed, as is always the case, by the way, and then all the schemes and devices in the world are employed just to get your valuables, right? Your phones, your laptops, your cash. They go to the extent of even having to whip out your ATM cards to withdraw money unauthorized, all right, just to exploit their victim. That's what they do. We've seen people who died, unfortunately, in the middle of this sort of attack. For many people, it's even more concerning that you hear about things like this in a place like Abuja, all right, which is the nation's capital. The trauma, the damage it does to the image of the country, and the kind of panic that it causes is, time for us to talk about all of those. You have no idea how traumatized many persons are just hearing of stories like this from their loved ones, from their colleagues, from their neighbors, and all of that. So the question is, what exactly has, if you like, spiked these incidences? Well, it's Yuletide season. People have become desperate. People are falling over themselves to want to impress, to want to live the life all of a sudden. And that has given rise to this new dimension that we're seeing right now. Time and again, the FCT Police Command in particular has assured Abuja residents that, look, we're on top of this situation, we'll deal with it as expected. But you see, the police alone can't do all of this all by themselves. So what more should we do to be able to address this issue?
We've always said that people should be careful the vehicle that they enter, but the truth is, how careful
can we be careful enough?
How careful can you be? How careful enough can one be? Recently, a church member of mine was kidnapped. I think it was on Friday evening, just after work, and then she entered one of these taxis, and off they go. In about, they were just running around the city, turning around, interestingly, a particular place not so far from her office in that vehicle. And while she was in that vehicle with them, I think she was strangled, tied in, made to shut up her phones and everything. They started reaching out to people. She started calling people she knew while in that taxi. This would interest you to know that this wasn't over the period of, say, 3 hours, 4 hours, and her narrating that experience, it was traumatic. I'm beginning to even wonder how much more people who have had to be in cases or places where they are held captive for as long as a week. So you can just imagine the trauma. And then and at the end of the day, sometimes, like you rightly mentioned, ransom is paid and these people are still killed, or they even die as a result of fear. And when she was narrating this experience, she was talking about adrenaline. She happens to be in the medical field, and so she understood the importance of being calm at that point. Why she was held like this. If she was restless, if she was a restless person, she probably would have choked, lost oxygen, and that would have led to her death. And so she tried as much as she could to be calm while she was held, on the neck. But how many people would, be able to be calm in such chaos, where your life, you see, it's almost like your life is flashing in front of you because they're holding guns, they're holding knives, they're holding you, trying to, ensure that you don't have that energy or strength to even shake. And then money was paid to these accounts because, of course, when your loved ones hear that you're in distress or in such a situation, they do everything, they go all out for you to ensure that you are safe and nothing happens to you. But we even had cases that are beyond pathetic, where some of these victims are raped. They're not just exploited, financially. They are raped, and in most cases raped to death, and their bodies dumped on the roadside. And it's just pathetic. Now it's Christmas season, and with what has happened on Friday, it just goes to tell you that these people are not stopping. So it's it's a continuous thing for them. It's a business. It's not, like something that they do consistently, particularly because it's a festive season. So I'm sure after dropping her off that Friday, they must have gone around again to get another victim, and it continues. Maybe somewhere different in another area, and it continues. So our security needs to be tightened this period. While we're saying, let us be careful. Do not leave, do not enter these public taxis at certain time of the day. When it's late. Even at least we can't say that rides, online taxis are safe, but to an extent they are safer. They're safer for you because you can share details of your rides, and you can ensure that whatever is on your app matches what you're seeing before you get into it. And so you can share your rides, share plate numbers, even pictures. Basically, you have all that on your app to your family members, so that you're just aware, where it is you're going to and who it is taking you to where it is you're going to. But for people who would have to take public taxis, they would have to be extra careful and try to get public vehicles at the designated point. One of the measures, this is one of the major security officers have told us that another way to be safe is to also ensure that you're entering taxis from parks. But how many of us, before getting to those parks, some people would have to commute to those, in between to those parks. And so that's where you have the along coming. You still have to take that along that will take you to. We have to be extra careful, but the most part of it has to be done by our security operatives. We need checkpoints. We need them to be vigilant this season. And also, individuals alike can be vigilant when you see a taxi turning around a particular place. It's a reason for you to alert get interested, alert security officials, and let us just be sensitive this season so that we don't have increased cases of these casualties. I think that would help.
It's interesting, how that you're watching television and you see many of these young men, as is always the case, but in recent times though we're also seeing ladies as part of the suspect's ring. All right. And you see how they try to look innocent. Some of them say it's their first time. But there was one that got me really thinking. It was one of our senior reporters here, Kikelemo Okere, that actually did that reporting for us a few months ago, where the guy was he mentioned a very prominent plaza here in Abuja that he has 2 shops there. He talked about how that he has a car that he gave to the syndicates, all right, to perpetrate this heinous crime, which means that there's a system around it. So part of the system is such that they take that car that he gave to them, they get their victims from across the city. So when they get things like devices, phones, laptops, tablets, and all of that, they bring them to him at this plaza where he has a shop, where he has 2 shops. So he sells, which means that it's a ring of problems we're dealing with. It also says to us that those who buy used devices in the world of UK used, all right, we have to be even more careful than anyone else, because I've said on this program before that, God forbid a million times, that someone is caught with a phone that was stolen from a crime scene. Maybe someone was even killed, maybe it was a kidnap, attack, one chance kind of incident, for example. You are as deep in soup, as my mom would say, as the people who were caught as the prime suspects. Because you have to explain to the authorities, to law enforcement in particular, how that phone got to you. Because that phone is now a subject of investigation. And whoever has that phone in their possession has a lot of answering to be doing to the authorities, whether it's the police or whoever you have to answer to. So let's be careful, let's look out for ourselves, and let's look out for ourselves. Now what that means is look out for yourself and look out for as many people around you as you can. You are not God, you can't do it all, but like we mentioned a while ago, let's have an eye on the ground, let's have an ear to the ground, so that when things happen around us, we get interested. I noticed, for example, I was suddenly hearing noise from the neighbor's house who is not usually around, and I got interested, and unlikely I had to find out who exactly was there, and everything was fine, and I had to turn back. So let's try to do that as much as we can, all right? Let's take a quick break now, everyone. Up next is the AM News.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the Global AM News here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital. I am Queen Agaba. The Supreme Court has dismissed a lawsuit seeking the removal of President Bola Tinubu from office. The suit, filed by the presidential candidate of the Hope Democratic Party in the 2019 general election, Ambrose Awuru, sought Tinubu's removal based on Central Intelligence Agency and drug allegations. The Apex Court, in a unanimous decision by a 5-member panel of justices led by Justice Uwani Abaji, held that the suit was frivolous and that Awuru be fined the sum of 5 million naira. It further warned the registry of the Supreme Court not to accept any frivolous originating summons from the plaintiff going forward. Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived in Saudi Arabia, where he will hold bilateral talks and visit the Mosque of Prophet Muhammad and other holy sites. He was received at the Mohammed bin Abdulaziz International Airport in Medina by Abdul Mushin bin Nayef bin Ahmed, the Deputy Governor of Medina region, along with Nigerian diplomatic officials, including Consulate General of Jeddah Ambassador Muazzam Nyaya. Shettima's spokesman Stanley Kocha, in a statement, said the vice president will proceed from the holy sites to Mecca, where he will perform the Lesser Hajj, also called the Umrah. The vice president will then head to Jeddah to hold a bilateral meeting with the president of the Islamic Development Bank on December 20th. The 47.9 trillion naira 2025 budget presentation to the joint session of the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu, earlier fixed for Tuesday, December 17th, has been shifted to Wednesday, December 18th. Akpabio announced that the budget presentation will take place at the House of Representatives chamber, informing the lawmakers that plenary will be at 10:30 a.m. to allow senators meet in the Red Chamber before moving in procession to the House of Representatives chamber, where the budget will be presented. The proposed 2025 budget will be President Tinubu's second full budget to be presented to the National Assembly since his assumption of office in May 2023. Meanwhile, citizens say they are expecting more developmental projects and programs from governors following the increases in the fiscal estimate proposed for the 2025 by various state governments. This showed that the 2025 budget of the state are about 31% higher than those of 2024, which were 16.15 trillion naira. For the 2025 fiscal proposals of other 32 states, there's a total of 14.35 trillion naira for capital expenditure and 7.56 trillion naira for recurrent. The Federal Executive Council has approved the renaming of the University of Abuja as Yakubu Gowon University. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris revealed this to State House correspondents after the council held its last meeting for 2024 at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. Idris said the third item is that there is also a decision taken by the Federal Executive Council to rename the University of Abuja to honor Elder Statesman General Yakubu Gowon. The Defense Headquarters has refuted claims that the French military was planning to establish a base in Nigeria. This is coming after a human rights activist, Madi Shehu, in a video accompanied post claimed that some French military officers had arrived in Borno State as part of the process to set up its base. He criticized the government for denying the development. Meanwhile, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, while reacting in a statement, dismissed the claim as fake and mischievous, urging the public to disregard such claims and speculations that are still circulating in some quarters. Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has charged the Nigerian Air Force to work harder in improving security in the country. Abubakar gave this charge after concluding a 4-day operational tour of the Air Force units in the Southwest. Abubakar reaffirmed the force's commitment to operational excellence, innovation, and personal welfare. From December 12th to 15th December 2024, the CAS inspected key facilities at various units, including 055 NAF Camp Victoria Island, 631 Aircraft Maintenance Depot, and 643 Equipment Supply Depot in Ikeja, as well as the 653 NAF Station and 663 NAF Mother and Child Hospital in Badagry, Lagos State. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has ordered a thorough investigation into the death of 2 Okwama community leaders, Pa James Ogoroko and Dennis Okugbaye, while in army custody. Ogoroko who was the President General of Okwama Community, and 81-year-old Okugbaye, the community's treasurer, reportedly died 6 days apart after being detained by the military. The duo, along with 4 others, Otto Ekpekpo, Chief Belvis Adogbo, Mabel Owemo, and Dennis Malaka, were arrested during the military operations following the killing of 17 soldiers on March 14, 2024, during a peace mission aimed at resolving a dispute between Okwama and the neighboring Okoloba community. President Bola Tinubu has approved free train rides nationwide from December 20th, 2024 to January 5th, 2025. The federal government says this is part of measures to ease transportation costs during the Christmas and New Year celebrations. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris told State House correspondents in Abuja an initiative is consistent with the president's desire to cushion the effect of transportation, especially to the most vulnerable Nigerians. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has sued President Bola Tinubu at the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos over failure to direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, to work with appropriate anti-corruption agencies to probe allegations that over 57 billion of public funds are missing, diverted or stolen from the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation in 2021 alone. SERAP, in the suit filed by its lawyers Kolawole Oluwadare and Oluwakemi Agumbiade, is asking the court to compel President Tinubu to direct Fagbemi to work with appropriate anti-corruption agencies to promptly probe the allegations and prosecute anyone suspected to be responsible for the missing 57 billion naira if there is sufficient admissible evidence, and to recover any missing public fund. The damning allegations are documented in the 2021 audited report released by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has distanced himself from an empowerment scheme which promises 65,000 naira to Nigerians, saying it's a scam. Atiku, in a statement signed by his media aide Paul Ibe, say a group claiming to be traveling abroad opportunities have been advertising a so-called Atiku grant by federal government on social media. The statement stressed that the former vice president and the 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party is not currently running an empowerment scheme that purports to give 65,000 naira to successful applicants. He therefore called on security agencies to investigate promoters of the scheme and countless other schemes which aim to scam innocent citizens and bring them to book. The immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, has threatened to institute legal proceedings against an online medium that published reports linking him to an attack on President Bola Tinubu. Bello, who spoke through the Director, Media Office of the former governor, Ohiare Michael, described the publication as not only mischievous, but absolutely senseless. He says the report, which is part of the desperate plot by irresponsible politicians to strain the relationship between the president and the former governor, is the most laughable twist in their failed bid to execute their bring him down at all costs marriage. Bello further reiterated his support for President Tinubu and the All Progressives Congress. The federal government, in collaboration with the World Bank, has allocated $600 million to rehabilitate 200,000 kilometers of rural roads under the Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project. Principal Information Officer at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Obuago Chika, disclosed this in a statement. Speaking during a press briefing in Abuja, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Abdullahi, revealed that the World Bank is contributing $500 million, while the federal and state governments will provide $100 million as counterpart funding. Abdullahi noted that the Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project initiative, already operational in 19 states, focuses on creating sustainable rural infrastructure. The Interim Commissioner for Affairs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in North Korea, Patrick Imologome, has announced the country's plan to reopen its embassy in North Korea. Imologome announced this while paying a protocol visit to the ambassador of Russia in Pyongyang and North Korean capital. The Russian embassy in North Korea shared the details of the meeting with Imologome in a Facebook post. Nigeria's diplomatic relations were stalled in 2021 after following the United Nations ban on the hiring of expatriates and professionals from North Korea, an Asian country notorious for the development of nuclear weapons and missiles in other countries. The UN implemented the ban as a sanction in response to the country's nuclear weapon and missile activities. You're watching the Global AM News, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When the AM News returns, Football Association announces key change in the 2024 to 2025 Emirates FA Cup. Details of this, as well as business and sports stories, coming right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is in business. Major stock markets and oil prices retreated on Monday after an unexpected slowdown in retail sales reinforced worries about China's struggling economy. The dollar mostly rose as traders looked ahead to interest rate decisions this week from the U.S. Federal Reserve, Bank of Japan and Bank of England. China remained the central focus for Asian markets in another show of economic weakness, which sent markets lower, noted Richard Hunter, head of markets at Interactive Investor. The Federal Executive Council has approved the 2025 budget proposal. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, revealed this to State House correspondents after the council met for the last time in 2024 at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. The Federal Executive Council approved the budget proposal for 2025 with amendments which President Tinubu directed following a presentation to the Federal Executive Council led by the Director General of the Budget Office, Tanimu Yakubu. National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) has disclosed that Nigeria's headline inflation rate rose to 34.60% in November 2024 from 33.88% in October 2024. This, according to the Bureau, shows that the November inflation rate increased by 0.72 percentage points compared to the October 2024 inflation rate. The Bureau specifically said on a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 6.40 percentage points higher than the rate recorded in November 2023, which shows that the headline inflation rate on a year-on-year basis increased in November 2024 compared to the same month in the preceding year. On the foreign scene, European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde says Eurozone policymakers would further cut interest rates if inflation continues to fall on its path toward the European Central Bank's 2% target. Lagarde said in a speech at the Bank of Lithuania that if the incoming data continue to confirm baseline, the direction of travel is clear and further lower interest rates are to be expected. The European Central Bank cut rates again last week as inflation looked to be coming under control and the Eurozone economy showed signs of weakness. The quarter-point move was the Frankfurt-based central bank's third cut in a row and its fourth since June. Rescuers raced against time to reach survivors after a powerful cyclone hit the French Indian Ocean territory of Mayotte, laying to waste the territory's many shanty towns with hundreds feared dead. Cyclone Chido caused major damages to Mayotte's airport and cut off electricity, water and communication links when it moved down on France's poorest territory on Saturday. Perfect Francois Xavier Bouville expects the final death toll will reach close to 1,000 or even several thousands. The mayor of Mayotte's capital, Mamoudzou Abdul Wahedo Soumaïla, told reporters the storm spared nothing. Impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has resisted investigators' calls for him to answer questions over his failed bid to declare martial law this month. Yoon, suspended from office by Parliament since Saturday, faces concurrent probes over alleged insurrection by both South Korean prosecutors and a joint team of police, Defense Ministry and anti-corruption investigators. South Korea's Constitutional Court has begun proceedings against Yoon and has about 6 months to determine whether to uphold the impeachment. Yoon and some of his inner circle face possible life imprisonment or even the death penalty if found guilty, and he remains under a travel ban. In sports, the Football Association has announced a key change to the 2024-25 Emirates FA Cup, confirming that video assistant referees (VAR) will be implemented from the 5th round onwards to ensure a consistent refereeing approach across all matches at this stage of the competition. In the official press states release on its website, the Football Association stated it has been agreed that VAR will be utilized for every match in the 5th round of the competition through to the final at Wembley Stadium. However, it clarified that VAR will not be in operation from the third and fourth rounds of the competition. Real Madrid forward Kylian Mbappe has returned after a thigh injury and will travel to Doha for this week's Intercontinental Cup final. Mbappe pulled up with a left thigh problem after scoring in last week's 3-2 Champions League win at Atlanta and missed Saturday's 3-3 league draw at Rayo Vallecano. However, the 25-year-old will be in the squad for Wednesday's Intercontinental Cup final against Mexican club Pachuca at the Lusail Stadium. And that's it on the Global AM News, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nightcomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you